Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video or to me, whatever, right? And I kind of just want to put it out there that the reason that I'm making these videos are not to make money. I don't desire to create any fancy YouTube channel, this or that. My just only purpose is to really help those newcomers to programming out there, and kind of like create that special journey with you guys. I'm brand new as well to programming, right? The only reason I make videos is that makes me understand even more like a concept, right? Because I need to be as accurate as I possibly can. That kind of helps me like go into this rabbit hole where I'm like constantly learning new stuff, right? And so I kind of want to grow with you guys, with my audience, if I get enough, right? Jokes aside. And I really hope you guys support me in this journey. And throughout the video, if I do make any mistake or say anything stupid, kind of forgive me and please correct me down in the comment below, because that would help a ton. All right, I'm speaking way too much, so kind of let's get right into it, right? So today's topic is going to be constructor, right? So first of all, what is a constructor? Okay, think about a constructor as a special method. Okay, it's just a special method, right? We know what a method is, right? So method is kind of made right, public, right, void, hello man, or something like that, right? It's kind of made like that, right? So that's a method. So think about constructor also as a special method in a class that gets automatically called when an instance or an object of class is created, right? And we all know how to create those as well, and we'll see later down in the video. But so kind of like the main purpose of a constructor is to basically initialize the data members of the new object, right? So okay, what are you talking about, right? Okay, I'll show you. So let's see, we have a class called animal, and let's say we have a field in here that says public, that's a type string, which is a name, right? So name of the animal. And we have something called public and age, right? So the age of the animal. So we have these two fields, right? Two properties of an animal. So what if you want to put the value for these two, right? Well, to do that, one way you could do it is you could basically initialize it here if you want, right? And if not, you could also do it by creating an object of this particular class. And how do we do that? Well, we do animal, right? You can do animal equals new animal, right? So this is how we create an object of this particular class. And now, as soon as we create this object, what the compiler does is it creates a default constructor that you can use behind the scenes, right? You don't even see that. And you're like, wait, how do you know that, right? Well, because we can just do animal dot. And if we use the dot operator, we can use the name, right? Age and name, as you guys can see here, right? So let's do name equals, and we can just do cat, right? Look at that. We can just do that, right? And we can also do animal dot age equals 10, right? That's a pretty old cat. But how were we able to do this? The only reason we're able to do this is because the default constructor was already created for us. Now you're gonna be asking me like, okay, but how do we make that default, like what does that look like? All right, I'll show you. So that constructor basically has to be created inside the class. So in this case, animal. So what a constructor is gonna have to create a constructor, you need to first define the scope of it, right? Or which is gonna be a public, right? And it has to be the same as the class name. So animal, and same as the method, just close them down like that. And this right here is our constructor, guys. This is our default constructor. Okay. Now, to show you guys the power of constructor, or the main power, I would say, there's many layers to this, right? But we are trying to stay as basic as we possibly can so that we grasp that at least the basic concepts. Okay, so we have public animal, right? That's gonna be our default constructor. So what do you mean by like other things, or like the power of constructor or the magic of the constructor, right? I'll show you. What we can do is we can do public, right? We can do animal again, and now we can create our own custom constructor, right? Now you're like, yo, what's going on, bro? It's showing an error. Well, you know why? Because there's a rule of thumb when it comes to constructor. You cannot have a constructor with the same signature. You're like, yo, what is a signature? Like, what are you talking about? Well, a signature is basically like, you know, where you sign in the stuff, right? You know, like your signature. But you know how your signature is kind of unique compared to other people, right? That's just basically how it is, right? Don't think of it in that way, but you know, what it's saying is the signature has to be different. And where does the signature go? Well, it goes inside these two brackets, small brackets, right? And how we make it unique compared to this is we just add whatever we have up here, right? Or it doesn't need to be there, right? But you can basically put any parameters in there, right? So whatever goes inside here is called parameter, and the value that you put for that certain parameter is basically called an argument. Okay, so we have public animal. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say string name, and we're gonna have int h, right? So that's what we're gonna have. And look at that, as soon as we did that, the error went away. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this dot name, which means I'm just referring to the name up here. Look at that, it gets highlighted, right? So basically we're saying that when I say this dot name, I'm referring to you know, the one outside the fields that are that is you know, outside of this particular constructor, right? So this dot name equals and now I'm referring to this parameter name, right? And we're basically saying that whatever value we put in there, just invoke it in there. And then this dot age equals you know, age, right? So that's that, right? But before I do this, right? Not before I do this, as I'm already doing it, right? I gotta show you guys the magic behind the constructor, right? That I'm talking about. As you guys can see, we basically, you know, put the value for these two, right? Name and age over here in our program.cs, in our main method, right? And we did that. It took 2 lines of code, right? Almost 2 lines of code to put the value in, right? So now imagine if you have like bunch of parameters, like 15 or 20. I don't know who has that, but maybe in the industry level, I don't know. But if you have that, imagine just going through each line and just like the next, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna take a lot of time. Well, how can we shorten that, right? How can we make our lives easier? Well, get rid of this. And before I actually show you the magic, let me show you guys some Control KC. And as soon as we do this, watch what happens. We get an error. And let's see what the error is, right? Let's hover over it. It says there is no argument given that corresponds to the required parameters, name of the animals and string int, right? And with the animal, which has string and int, right? So it's basically asking, or it's thinking that as soon as we create this own our own constructor, right? What it's gonna do, it's gonna override our default constructor, and it's automatically gonna think that, okay, since this is the only constructor that I see, I'm gonna get rid of the default and I'm gonna treat this as the main constructor. Okay, and that is why you see the error. One way to get rid of this error is to just basically uncomment this and just leave that default constructor there. And if you come back here, the error goes away, right? But the other way you can do this is basically, if I can comment this out, is basically actually invoking the values in here, which is an argument, right? Now what we can do is we can basically say cat, right? And then the age was 10. And look at that. That's how powerful constructors are, right? So this really, this really shows, the way we do the programming, right? So in programming, we should not be repeating too much, right? A good programmer means you need to follow the dry method. What is a dry method? Well, try is do not repeat yourself, right? Please just try not to repeat yourself too much. Try to look for ways where you can really like make your life easier and make the code as short and as easier to read as possible, right? So that's basically the whole reason behind the constructor. And like I told you guys, there's way more power that this constructor holds. Okay, we don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of that yet, right? We will probably do it in the future, so let's not go to that yet, and then let's just stick with what we have. All right, well, with that, I've been talking too much gibberish, so I'm just going to kind of end the video here. And I would like to thank you guys again for kind of sticking with me in this journey, and I really hope that we can kind of grow together, in this. And let me know if you have any questions or how I can improve the next upcoming videos. With that note, I will see you guys in the next video.